My Hero Academia recently did the unthinkable with Tomura Shigaraki actually stealing one of Deku's quirks, Danger Sense, and is now able to use the 4th user of One For All's quirk against him in their fight. But with such an insane turn of events, the big question on everyone's mind now is, how is Deku going to win this fight? Not even Deku himself knows how he's going to beat Shigaraki, but I know exactly how Deku is going to win, as well as succeed in his efforts in reaching Tenko Shimura, and it's all thanks to Shigaraki stealing Danger Sense. Now, how is Danger Sense going to be essential in taking down Shigaraki, you might be asking, because Shigaraki seems to be using Danger Sense against Deku just fine. Well, if we take a look back to the very beginning of the war, Deku was dragged through the wrong portal by Himiko Toga, and his Danger Sense never activated despite his back being turned and a villain being the one to yank him through the portal. Danger Sense once again failed to trigger for the second time when Toga charged at Deku with a knife, and that's when we learned that Danger Sense wasn't recognizing the threat she posed as actual danger, because when Toga hurts people, she does so out of pure, genuine affection. And for those of you who paid extra close attention, this was something that also happened during Deku versus Class 1A. No matter what Class 1A threw at Izuku, his Danger Sense never went off, catching Deku by surprise every time he got caught by their attacks, because they were trying to save him and weren't trying to put him in any actual danger. This all means that Danger Sense as a quirk can recognize when attacks have malicious intent behind them, so it won't activate if there is no genuine threat. That's why both Toga and Class 1A couldn't trigger Danger Sense, and thanks to Toga, Deku was able to realize this during the all-out war. Alright, we know that already, but how is this going to help Deku defeat Shigaraki? Well, as we know, Deku is trying to reach Tenko Shimura to try and essentially understand and save the child within Tomura Shigaraki. The way I believe Deku will be able to reach Tenko Shimura in Tomura Shigaraki is through Danger Sense. In Deku versus Shigaraki, Deku so far with his attacks has been trying to stop Shigaraki with the intent to hurt him, because he's only been seeing him as a villain that needs to be stopped, which he is, but we have to remember his talk with Ochako before the war, and how for Ochako, even though for her it was way past the point of forgiving Toga for all that she's done, Toga was still a person too, and Ochako got to thinking about how she didn't really know anything about Toga. Ochako began seeing Toga as more of a human than a villain, and Deku even realized the same thing, and how maybe they won't be able to avoid a battle, but he can't ignore what he saw deep inside of Shigaraki, that being Tenko Shimura. Deku in this fight is going to have to start seeing Shigaraki as a human rather than a villain, which for those of you who have seen the My Hero Academia chapter 411 leaks is exactly what he ends up doing at the end of the chapter. Once Deku begins to see Shigaraki as a human, the intent behind his attacks are going to change from stopping Shigaraki to saving Tenko, which will throw Danger Sense out of whack, being unable to detect Deku's attacks as actual danger despite them doing actual damage, bypassing Danger Sense's detection the same way Toga did to him. Shigaraki will then come to the conclusion about Danger Sense the same way Deku did when it came to Toga, and this will show Tenko that Deku is there to help, thus pulling him more to the surface away from the many hands of Shigaraki's corruption. Remember, Deku is the one person that Tenko recognizes as a hero who stands up to save others, as shown during the end of the Shigaraki versus Stars and Stripes fight, where at the end of Stars' rampage in the All For One world, before dying she tells All For One that as long as people stand up to save each other, someone will inherit that will of heroism, and make no mistake, they will strike you down. The first person Tenko Shimura thought of under all of that corruption was Izuku Midoriya. Once Tenko makes it more to the surface, weakening Shigaraki's hold over him, after realizing that Deku is noticing and seeing him as a human, Deku will finally be able to get through to Tenko and begin to understand understand why Tenko ended up creating and becoming Shigaraki, as I believe the Shigaraki personality was the itch created from the built-up hate for his family, which is hinted at us when we got an origin for both Tenko Shimura and Tomura Shigaraki, sort of separating the two from each other. For Tenko, this would be the first time a person actually came and reached out their hand to save him rather than turn their back on him the way society did after he lost his family and was roaming the streets alone. After an internal battle in the One For All world between Shigaraki, Tenko, and Deku with the possible help of the many quirks within All For One, Tenko would then take full control over his body and would finally make that itch, aka Shigaraki, and all of that hate go away. Deku would be the first person to ever save Tenko Shimura, thus beating Tomura Shigaraki, fully destroying Shigaraki and All For One along with their quirks, which would make sense because once Stars and Stripes died within All For One due to New Order rebelling and destroying some of the quirks within All For One, New Order and Kathleen were no longer present. Now, of course, on the chance that the itch doesn't go away because of how strong Shigaraki has become, I can see both Shigaraki and Tenko fighting each other for control, with Tenko making a sacrifice and giving Deku his blessing to end his life, to put an end to Shigaraki once and for all. Tenko would let Deku know that thanks to him, he was finally saved and that it's okay to put him down. Deku would then be forced to make the hard decision of putting down both Tenko and Shigaraki, who would be severely weakened due to Tenko and Shigaraki's internal battle. And that's how Deku will win in his fight against Shigaraki, and it's all thanks to Shigaraki trying to steal One For All. Personally, I would prefer if Deku manages to save Tenko, fully destroying Shigaraki and All For One within him, so that there will never be a chance for Shigaraki and All For One to return within Tenko. You kinda get the best of both worlds with this ending, in the way that Deku would be able to end Shigaraki's life that a lot of you really want, as well as save Tenko at the same time, and I think it would be a cool way to implement that trope of the hero being able to do the impossible when it comes to saving someone and stopping the villain. But let me know your thoughts on the theory in the comment section below. Will this be how Deku ends up beating Shigaraki, or do you think it will go down in a completely different way? Let me know everything in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to Detroit smash that like button down below, and if you're new to the Kitaroki channel, then be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as turn on notifications so that you don't miss a new My Hero Academia video, as we do breakdowns, discussions, and theories all the time. With that said, I hope everyone has a great start to the new year, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.